More on our top story. Gauteng Community Safety MEC Sizakele Nkosi-Malobane says she wants to target organizers of violent protests in the province. Well, she joins us now. Good evening, MEC. Thanks very much for your time. So, who exactly are you targeting?
Okay. Usually when marches and demonstrations are being organized, there will be someone who will apply for that particular march to take place. They will also indicate to where they are going to and to whom they want their memorandum. If there's a memorandum that needs to be received, who must actually receive that particular memorandum. And those are the people who most of the time do it legally. And when there is a mistake that happens during their marches, they take responsibility, or they should take responsibility of whatever that happens. But we are now faced with a situation where faceless people will organize something called shutdowns. And during those so-called shutdowns, they actually first deny people an opportunity to go to work or an opportunity to choose whether or not they want to be part of those shutdowns. But they also destroy other people's properties. They also destroy public property, those properties that have been, or assets, those that have been built by using taxpayers' money. So, in other words, they will destroy those things, and which, at the end of the day, taxpayers must end up footing the bill, paying for those things that have been destroyed by faceless people. And what we intend to do now, all the people who apply for marches or demonstrations, they will take responsibility of whatever happens during those demonstrations and marches, and they'll have to foot the bill and fix the things that have been destroyed. But when it comes to people who are faceless in this case, we'll target the key leaders of those of those activities and actually treat them like any other criminal, because destroying property and also protection of properties, as well as protecting people's rights and actually making sure that there's law and order in this country, is the responsibility of SAPS, together with the partners in the criminal justice system, to make sure that whoever that destroys anyone's property, including the state property, is actually brought to book. And we will make sure that those organizers of those events, we will target them. What we intend to do is we'll even go and fetch them at home before they even embark on those destructive activities.
Now, that means you do accept that the people will have, there could be people with very legitimate grievances. Yes. They sit, they organize a march. Let's say the march goes wrong, not because they did anything wrong, but criminals hijack the march. Are you going to hold those people? Definitely,
we will hold them responsible. When you organize a march or demonstration, one of the things that you need to do is to make sure that there are marshals, the police are informed in time. We don't want surprises. The police are involved in that particular march in making sure that when marching, elements of distractions are being identified. I'll make an example about the march from Alex to Sandton. The shutdown committee applied for the march from Alex to Sandton. They actually got involved with the police in actually through Jock in organizing that march, and also a riot act was read to them that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things are not needed. And some of those elements that you're talking about brought tires. And they were actually approached by the police, and those tires were taken. Those that resisted were actually arrested. People were refused to carry dangerous weapons in that march because they indicated that that march was a peaceful march, and people were then spotted and be dealt with immediately.
So that police have a responsibility then
Definitely.
Actually go there and protect those communities.
You're right.
And not to be seen to be siding with the very politicians some of these people are protesting against,
yes.
or against whom there are claims of neglect or, and simply not doing their job.
I mean, we are a constitutional state.
No.
People have a right, have a right to organize, to demonstrate, or through organizing those marches or organizing demonstrations, right? But when it's done as a surprise, people wake up 3 o'clock in the morning, they close all the roads, and they refuse people to go to work. They refuse people to leave the township. They refuse children to go to school. That is actually criminal. It is wrong
and
for someone.
It is there that
yes.
police should do their
Definitely.
job. But what you also can't do is to really come down hard on people who have legitimate grievances and who aren't necessarily breaking the law.
Yes.
But simply because police don't do their job, then they want to go for the easy target, which is the guy who tried to organize, a peaceful protest.
In this case,
that you're not going to do.
No. We're not actually going for people who apply or who indicate to the police that they want to march to the premier, they want to march to the mayor, they want to march to the president. There is planning for such things. And also, we need to come up with a strategy to prevent those hijackers that are actually indicated. We know not everyone will organize a march with the intention of destroying property or of destroying, of stopping people to go to work. There will always those elements, and police will then plan for such elements and be able, together with the marchers, to deal with those people. But one of the conditions of marching and demonstrating is to have enough marshals. Not only for the marches, including a match at the stadium. A big event that of over 500 people, you need to apply for it because we need to prevent any disaster that can happen in that particular gathering.
And one agrees with you, MEC, but here's something you also need to recognize. If a community wants to have a protest, right, they may not have the might of the state that you have when, for example, you're trying to correctly prevent, loss of life or damage to property. But then, if for a community, that is the difference between making their protest a success, in other words, the number of marshals they need to have, that would amount to basically not allowing those people, indirectly not allowing the people to to protest.
They've never been...
Because, there may be communities that may not have the marshals, that you have. Then that's where then your police should come in and actually help those people, yes. Allow them to move peacefully and do whatever it is that they want to do within the ambit of the law. But you shouldn't put a burden on these communities so that they have hundreds of marshals, that are going to make sure that nothing goes wrong. Because I don't think that's fair either.
No, you're correct. The reason why we actually request people to apply is to look at those things that you're actually mentioning now. You have seen marches being escorted by the police. I'm sure not once but several times. And in most cases, is those that come from the disadvantaged communities, where they will march with them or even organize community patrollers to assist in those particular marches, because the intention or the purpose of asking people to apply to the police, the intention is not to stop the march, but is to make sure that the march is as peaceful as possible, but also to assist the marchers to also communicate their grievances to those that are marching against, particularly those that are in government. We allow that, hence there will always be a job that is organized. I've also indicated that it's not only about marchers and demonstrators, it is any event that is over 500 people. We always request that please indicate in time so that we avoid disasters. We've had disasters in Ellis Park where people didn't do what is supposed to be done, and I'm sure you know the report. We are trying to avoid that we don't only protect innocent people who are not part of the march, but we also protect the same marchers against any disasters, as well against anyone who want to hijack the march and turn it into a criminal activity. So marchers and organizers of these marches must make sure that they inform us in time. And if they don't, we'll go for them. There's a lot of public property that have been destroyed, and unfortunately, me and you and ordinary citizens of this country have to pay for some things that people have destroyed deliberately. Just yesterday, we lost a post office in a rural area, or semi-rural area, and a lot of our pensioners rely on that particular, or people who depend on the state in terms of grants. They rely on that post office, and the post office is gone. Who is supposed to replace that post office? And for some time, people will miss their grants because of that. Roads has been closed. People's cars have been destroyed. I mean, if you can ask people to come forward and indicate to you how many of their cars have been destroyed, you'll be shocked how many people have been victims of some of these faceless marchers. And and I want to make a promise in this case, we are definitely going to deal with those people, because I think it is important that our people's rights are protected. Marchers' rights must be protected, but my right to choose not to be part of a march in order to save my job, in order to save my property, must also be respected.
That's what we're going to leave. Thank you very much
Thank you
for coming through this evening. Gauteng Community